We're two hitchhikers. We met while hiking Mount Baldy with mutual friends, wasted no time, got engaged on a frozen alpine lake, got hitched, and have been adventuring together since. We're embarking on a new adventure of living big in a tiny home. Let's see how this goes.
Adventure awaits.
Last week, we left off almost having finished the wiring process. So this week, we get to check it off as complete. This yellow cable is the main electrical conduit for the entire tiny house. We're taking extra care to do this project right.
To have that, I'll run the next one and go from there.
Not only does this conduit cost a pretty penny, but any incorrect judgment could result in catastrophe later down the road. Keep in mind, though, that none of this is live. The solar system still has to be set up. These water lines, marked by red and blue, are almost ready to be tested. So here, we have a classic case of Mechanic World coming together with Construction World. We need to test the water lines before putting in the insulation to make sure that we don't have any leaks. But instead of testing with water, we're going to test with smoke. So this is typically a process he uses when he's working on cars, but instead we're going to put it to use here in the tiny home. And as cool as it would be to see smoke inside the tiny home, we're hoping for no smoke because that means no leaks. And if there's no leaks, we can install insulation. And once we install insulation, we can start putting up the interior walls and the house starts coming together.
It's going to take a while for it to fill up.
All right, false alarm. I did see smoke. I told him about it, but the valve was just open. So he closed the valve on this one and then the one over there. Again, doing this backwards. And outside of that,
Yeah.
we're looking good.
So as long as the connections inside the walls are not leaking, we're good. But if they're leaking inside the walls, we'd rather know now than when water's flowing through it. So the system is holding pressure, but it's leaking out of this little janky connection that I made right here, which is normal, but nowhere inside is it leaking, so that's good.
All right, next up is to finish off the loft area. Ruben is placing extra support beams so we can properly place straight walls in front of the insulation. The other item is to finish off the vent from the bathroom. It requires an exit from the loft area, and it's better to get this job done now rather than after the insulation and mini walls are in place. So now we just need to apply some silicone on the inside, and I think we'll be set to go.
Hook me up with a really long one. Okay. Can you get me the insulation sprayer?
In other news, the Tacoma is finished. But before handing over the Tacoma back to the client, Ruben has to realign the bumper. You can't say he's not resourceful.
So now I need it to go this way. And that's when the Mini gets involved. This looks so stupid and dangerous, but I swear to you it's not.
What you're trying to do?
Well, I'm trying to straighten this front grill thing out. He hit something, and so I gotta straighten it out. Hit in from all, like this right here, shoved it this way. So I'm trying to do the whole shimmy shake. Access to this bolt because it was smashed in and folded in on this. So now I get to take this bolt out and then I get to straighten out that stuff. And then I get to straighten out these things with a hammer.
Generally speaking, Ruben would not necessarily drive a car back to a client 200 miles away, but the situation was special. So we carpooled our way to Nevada and got to escape the continued smoky skies in the area.
Not a happy customer.
Since we were already so far east, we had an excuse and opportunity to drive just a little further to see some of our favorite people. We crashed their pizza party and got some lessons about some of the local wildlife in the area. After a nice evening of catching up and hanging out, we got up early, grabbed some breakfast to go from one of our favorite spots, and started making our way home. But not before stopping to soak our sore muscles and to relax our exhausted brains with a dip in some natural hot springs. Much warmer than the other one. As we reached home, the skies were still smoky, but the heat was a much more tolerable 92 degrees. The wind, however, is now our nemesis. It seems we can't quite catch a break from the elements entirely, but we're doing all right with the small blessings we get each day. And although it feels like progress is like molasses flowing down an iceberg, we look back on the last few weeks and can see just how far we've come. So what's up next on the project agenda? Yep, you guessed it, insulation, finally. If you have any professional tips, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear them. If you enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing and liking. As much as we hate saying this and asking, it really does help the algorithm and might help to promote these videos to other people who possibly might be interested in tiny home builds and homesteading. Either way, we truly appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos and joining us on this crazy adventure. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday.